How you doing? How's it going? Welcome back to Basement Horrors. Today we are talking about the worst horror subreddits out there. And I know there's a lot of subreddits. Reddit has a ton of subreddits for everything you could ever imagine. I'm going to stick just strictly to what is, I guess, horror and horror adjacent subreddits or anything having to do with horror. And I'm not just going to pick on people because that's mean. I mean, I might just pick on one person in particular, and you'll see in this video who I'm going to pick on. But outside of that, I'm just going to find stuff on horror subreddits that I think are just weird. They're just weird posts. They shouldn't be there. Like people who are gatekeeping or people who are just, I don't know, trying to tell people what they should or shouldn't watch when it comes to horror. And before we get into this, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. If you saw my previous video about Horror Hound, that is awesome. Thank you. Please give that a like also. If you haven't, go back and watch that. Also, I'm starting a new channel called Midwest Adventures with my wife, where we're going to be traveling around doing all sorts of stuff, going to cons, going to amusement parks. We're going to be doing a lot of Kings Island videos if you're from Cincinnati. So check that out as well. Now let's get into it. The first thing I want to get off my chest is the r/disturbing movies subreddit. Now, this is a subreddit I joined when I first got into doing Reddit, first got into participating in Reddit. And the first thing I noticed was there was one mod for this subreddit, and his name is u/Poopy McPants. And that's going to be the one person I'm going to pick on this video specifically. Outside of that, I'm not going to call anybody out. And this guy, let me be honest with you, man. This guy is one of the worst people on Reddit. And yeah, I know there are a lot of bad people on Reddit. I don't know all of them, but this is the worst person I've experienced on Reddit. And let me tell you why. And that is because I joined r/disturbing movies because, I mean, if you watch my videos, you know I like disturbing movies. That is my main thing, is extreme horror, exploitation horror. And that's my main thing. And for some reason on r/disturbing movies, this mod never let anybody talk about disturbing movies. I mean, I love Salo and Cannibal Holocaust and even a Serbian film, as messed up as it is. That is one of my favorite movies because of certain aspects of that movie. And when it came to this subreddit, it felt like if I brought those movies up and wanted to talk realistically about them, it would just get blocked or taken down, or the subreddit would have an issue with it. In which I feel like goes against the purpose of the subreddit. You know, it's r/disturbing movies. We should be able to talk about disturbing movies. And yeah, if you know anything about Salo or a Serbian film, is disturbing movies. And it wasn't even just that. It was also August Underground and the Lucifer Valentine movies, which I hate Lucifer Valentine, but still, is there going to be a place to talk about them, which should be r/disturbing movies? It just felt like there was a very biased place with this mod where he did not want people to talk about these movies and only talk about the movies that he thought deserved to be on there. And if you did talk about them, it was, oh, you're just a cringe lord, or you're a edge lord, or you're just trying to start controversy, which if you're on this subreddit, why would you ever not want to talk about movies like that? It does not make sense to me. Why are you part of r/disturbing movies if you don't want to talk about movies that are disturbing? So let me get into it right here. I'm going to scroll down through r/disturbing movies and try to find just some stuff that maybe some people were talking about that I don't know. I don't think really should be on that subreddit. For example, right here, 3 days ago, somebody posted about VHS. And if you know about VHS, you would know that VHS is not disturbing. VHS in the VHS series is like ABCs of Death. It is a, what do you call it? Anthology series. And it is not, it's not disturbing at all. And this person says, I've not seen VHS mentioned on here. I never watched it because I thought it would be very good for some reason, or thought it wouldn't be very good for some reason. It was really good, like properly scary. I hate jump scares and other cheap tricks, and it was really good. Thumbs up if you haven't seen it already, check it out. These are the things that are allowed on this subreddit, while talking about actual disturbing movies isn't. And that's another reason why, like, this subreddit is just so bad. You know, like, VHS should not be brought up on disturbing movies. VHS is not a disturbing movie. It should have got taken down, in my opinion. And it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, VHS is not disturbing. Like, when you compare VHS to, like, some, I don't know, exploitation films like Necromantic or Cannibal Holocaust or Cannibal Ferox or I don't know, August Underground series, it's not even close. You know, VHS is very mainstream, and I don't understand why this is allowed on here. And again, just to reiterate, this dude blocked me. I'm on a backup account to where he doesn't have me blocked. There's a lot of movies on here that, yeah, maybe could be disturbing, maybe have disturbing aspects, but you know, like right here, Mandy, 2018 with Nicolas Cage. Why? That's not a disturbing movie. It may be disturbing to the general viewer, but it's not a disturbing movie. Here's another one right here, Terrifier. And this is another thing that makes me mad about this mod, is whenever Terrifier was brought up, this mod, u/Poopy McPants, would always get mad when anybody called out Terrifier. This dude had Terrifier as his main profile picture on Reddit. If you like Terrifier, that's fine. You know, that's fine. I'm not gonna get mad at you. I'm not gonna like act like you shouldn't like Terrifier, because at the end of the day, everything is subjective. People can like what they want to like. But for me, Terrifier does not deserve to be in r/disturbing movies, because Terrifier to me is comedy. It is satire. It is a more graphic version of Scream. And I'm not talking about like the storyline of Scream. I'm talking about the satire aspect of Scream. The Terrifier movies to me are very much satire in the fact that it is going so over the top. It is a B movie. Both of them, in my opinion. And not a good B movie as in like Trauma films or Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It is a B movie in the sense of, hey, we're going to try to be as graphic as possible. We're going to try to be extreme. It just doesn't come off that way. It just comes off as goofy, silly, stupid, in my opinion. And this guy, u/Poopy McPants, is obsessed with these films. He absolutely loves these films. They, whoever they are, love these films. And whenever they got brought up on r/disturbing movies, whenever anybody be like, hey, these aren't disturbing. These aren't disturbing. If you watch Terrifier 2 and then watch August Underground, you will be like, oh my goodness, August Underground is way more brutal, way more in your face than what Terrifier 2 is, where Terrifier 2 comes off as a comedy film. It is comedy. You would get blocked. Automatically, you would get blocked by this douchebag. He would block you. He would take down your comments and everything like that. Why we wrap things up for r/disturbing movies, let me just say this. Like, this mod is the worst horror mod on Reddit by far. u/Poopy Pants, like Poopy McPants, whatever you want to call yourself. I'm sorry. If you watch this video, dude, you suck. You suck. You are a horrible mod. Okay, if you're going to run a subreddit having to do with disturbing movies, let people talk about disturbing movies. Don't block them. Don't block people who call out people who post about movies that aren't disturbing. I'm sorry. Terrifier is not disturbing. It's not. It is disturbing for a 13-year-old girl. I am sorry. It is not disturbing. Okay? You know what's disturbing? Salo. You know what's disturbing? Cannibal Holocaust, where real animals are getting killed. You know what's disturbing? Melancholia Der Engel, where real animals are being killed. Those are disturbing movies. Let people talk about those movies. Stop blocking people who are part of those movies. Next up is r/horror. R/horror is arguably the biggest subreddit for horror on Reddit. Like, it is literally the horror Reddit for Reddit. That's the reason why it's r/horror. This subreddit is so out there. There are so many people who are part of this subreddit. There are so many people who participate in this subreddit to where it is random bullshit. There are people who talk about horror movies. There are people who talk about non-horror movies. There are people complain about extreme horrr movies, just r/disturbing horror movies. There's a thing in this subreddit to where people want to sit there and dictate what is horror, what isn't. If you bring up extreme horror or exploitation horror, you get downvoted. You get told, "Oh, you're just an edgelord. Oh, you're just trying to get trying to make a scene." And it's just a bad subreddit in my opinion. First example, let me pull up a post from a year ago saying, "Watch a Serbian film last night and fuck that movie. I'm kind of judging myself that I watched this entire thing, but honestly, I was hoping it would have some sort of semblance of redeeming quality at the end. It did not." And I'm gonna have to read the rest of it. It's a huge post, but this is a prime example. Okay, cool. Like, you're allowed to voice your opinion on Reddit. That's completely fine. That is completely fine. But let's go down through the comments here. The comments essentially are calling it just scum, calling it just a movie where there is no point, there is no symbolism, there is nothing that needs to even be redeemable for this movie. And the thing is like, I don't agree with that at all. Like, I'm not taking up for the movie. Yes, a Serbian film is a really messed up movie. There are some things in the movie that probably should not have been in the movie, and if you've seen it, then you probably understand what it is. But at the same time, to act like this movie is just scum altogether is bullshit. And I don't think you understand how films are made if you think that. I don't think you understand symbolism. I don't think you understand social commentary. There is a lot to this film that has very much redeemable qualities as far as cinematography, as far as acting. I think the actor who played Milos did such an amazing job. Like, he did a very good job in that movie, especially for like a low budget horror movie, an extreme horror movie where most of the time it is very much just somebody with a camera filming around their house or something. This movie definitely has symbolism. It definitely has meaning, which is the Serbian government and how they treat their people, and capitalism, what it means to try to work to do something and get taken advantage of. It is so hated on r/horror. If you even talk about it in a positive way, you just get absolutely blasted. Next up, we have one right here about Salo. And I will read it as is. It says, "What's the appeal of Salo? I've read quite a lot about this movie, articles, blog, YouTube videos, Reddit opinions, but I still don't quite get why people watch Salo. I know of its historic importance, which is a good argument, but even then the movie is just so appalling. It might be the only movie I really would never watch, unlike heavy hitters such as Martyrs and a Serbian film." Let me answer your opinion here. Now, yes, Salo is appalling. It is a grotesque, disturbing movie. It is an extreme movie. It is a absolute exploitation film. But here's the thing. Salo has so much purpose. And the biggest thing I can say about this is that it is part of the Criterion Collection. And I'm sorry, some of you who post on r/horror probably don't even know what the Criterion Collection is. And I'm probably going to sound like a douchebag right now who tries to act like they're better than you, but to be completely honest, if you don't know what the Criterion Collection is, then you probably shouldn't be voicing your opinion about movies online on a subreddit about horror movies. Salo is a gem of a movie. Not only a horror movie, but a movie in general. And yes, it's fucked up. It is very fucked up. It is a messed up movie. But at the end of the day, Salo has so much purpose. The social commentary when it comes to authoritarianism, when it comes to social economic class, when it comes to government, you know, this in war. This movie has so much social commentary to it, and there's a reason why it's in the Criterion Collection is because of how good of a movie it is. And like to compare it to a Serbian film and to compare it to Martyrs almost feels like a slap in the face. Like I like a Serbian film, we just got done talking about it, but like it's not even in the same class. Like this is an exploitation film that has so much purpose to it, that has so much just meaning behind the film, and this is another reason why, like, it makes me so mad about people who post on r/horror because a lot of these people are just like normie horror fans, and which that's fine. If that's what you are, that's fine. If you like The Conjuring, if you like those type of movies, if you like Megan, if you like PG-13 horror, that is completely fine. I am not bashing on you. What I'm saying is don't try to get yourself into the exploitation extreme horror field. Don't try to watch the dumbass Wendigoon video where he talks about the disturbing horror iceberg, where that dumbass doesn't have any clue what he's talking about. He is an idiot who has no clue what he's talking about. Don't go and watch that and then try to watch these films and be like, oh, well, I don't understand the appeal of them. I don't understand why people like them. People like them because just like you like The Conjuring, just like you like the same lame ass Blumhouse movies, just because those people like those and you like those, that means that people like a Serbian film and like extreme horror and like Salo and like Cannibal Holocaust and like exploitation films. They like those, just like me. I love those films. I love those horror films because that is what I like. And you like what you like. That is completely fine. Don't try to gatekeep. Don't try to be a douchebag and tell people what they can and cannot like. Don't tell people what is horror and what is not horror. I'm sorry, but like being jump scared in a PG-13 Evil Dead Rise type film sucks. I hate that. You know what I like? I like realistic stuff. I like August Underground where somebody's being tortured. I like Tumbling Dolls of Flesh. I like Guinea Pig series. I like something that makes me feel like something is actually happening in real life. I love Hostel. Hostel is an Eli Roth movie. You want to know why I like Hostel? Is because Hostel doesn't feel like some generic PG-13 movie. It feels like a movie that would actually happen in real life. Something that would actually happen where somebody goes to a foreign country, gets kidnapped by a bunch of people, and tortured by a bunch of rich people. That feels real. You know what doesn't feel real to me? The Conjuring. That doesn't feel real. It's a bunch of ghost story bullshit. But guess what? I'm not telling you can't like those types of movies. You can like those types of movies. If you get scared by ghosts and ghouls and monsters and all of this, that is completely fine. I love Sinister. Bagul is like one of my favorite horror characters of all time. Guess what? Bagul's not real. He's not real. I like Sinister. Sinister is one of my favorite movies. You don't see me going out of my way to tell people, oh yeah, I love Sinister. I like Bagul, but fuck everybody who likes, August Underground series or Melancholy Der Engel or The House That Jack Built. It's so messed up, man. It's so messed up. And here's another one from r/horror that says, Cannibal Holocaust sucked. There, I said it. I can't believe this movie is a cult classic. First, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The animal killings were sick and truly not needed in capacity. Okay, so let me go ahead and address that first part. The animal killings, maybe weren't necessary for the film, but the animal killings did provide meat and food to the tribe and the filmmaker. Every single animal they killed in that movie got donated to the tribespeople for them to cook and eat and make for food for them to eat. And that got distributed between them and the crew members of the film. So you're telling me that it is bullshit that they killed animals for this film, but they only helped out the people who were literally tribes members who were going to probably kill these animals anyway to make food? That doesn't make any sense to me, and it goes completely against the fact that it's an exploitation film. There's going to be stuff where they exploit everything. That's exploitation for you. Don't watch it if you don't like it. Next thing they say is the acting was not good at all for except for one of the main characters, which was the professor. Again, why even voice your comment on horror movies if you don't understand that exploitation film does not have great acting? There are very few exploitation films that have very good acting because guess what? They're low budget films. They're not going to have the best acting. You don't need the best acting for a movie like Cannibal Holocaust where the meaning comes through so hard. The plot was pretty boring and most of the gore seemed edgy and made me roll my eyes. This is something I see so much with exploitation films and with extreme horror films is like, it's edgy. Does this guy understand this movie was made in the 70s? Does he understand that the gore of the movie was to be appealing and appalling? Wasn't to be like something that was edgy. They weren't trying to be cool in the 70s when they were making these films. They weren't trying to be like, watch this. Like, this wasn't 4chan. This is a movie where they were trying to be as realistic as possible. And I hate to tell you, Cannibal Holocaust was the first found footage horror movie ever made, and the movie was so convincing that they thought people actually died. They thought people actually died in this film. That's how convincing it was. It may not be convincing to you right now, but that's how convincing this movie was. The only redeeming quality of the film was the score. I did love the music. Props on you, the music of the film was very good. That's my thoughts. Thought the movie would be a lot better, but it was mediocre cringe fest with a bad plot. If it was a mediocre cringe fest, do you think that it would have a cult following? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to get into your entire, I'm better than you bullshit with this. This movie was not a cringe fest. Cannibal Holocaust had such good meaning. It is a cult classic for a reason, and the reason is because it has so much social commentary when it comes to the movie having to do with the fact that imperialism is so horrible. Like when people just take over and expect things to be a certain way, they become the tribalistic savages, not the actual people who are tribalistic savages. That is the point of the movie. The point of the movie is show how horrible humanity is. Even first world countries like America are horrible. The things that we do are horrible and on the same level as absolute third world savages. We do the same things. We are so horrible, and we should not get a pass for that. And that is what Cannibal Holocaust talks about. And that's the reason why some of these posts on r/horror are so bad. They're so ridiculous when it comes to bringing up some of these extreme horror films, some of these exploitation films. Everybody wants to have an opinion on them who has no clue what they're talking about. Now, before I get into some of the people I actually like on Reddit, let me point out a few things of a couple Reddits that I feel like you guys need to do better. And that is r/gore movies. I don't mind you guys. U/liquid nuke, U/gorefil78, U/woho45. I like you guys. I do. I like you guys. I think you guys are good mods. I think you run a good subreddit with r/gore movies. My only issue is I think that you guys need to be a little bit quicker and a little bit more mean to people who post about actual gore stuff on the subreddit. If you're looking for like more extreme and exploitation type films, r/gore movies is a great place to go. But there are a lot of people who post on there who are just absolute idiots and don't read the sub description where it talks about how it is for movies only, and they're talking about gore mixtapes, they're talking about Mondo films, and all of this where it doesn't have anything to do with gore movies, it just has to do with gore. And they're asking about like certain mixtapes like MD Pope and all of these other ones, or any of these like 4chan, useless junk, fucked, kind of gore film or gore mixtapes. And I feel like those people need to get banned and taken down really quickly. There are so many times I have replied to ones on there being like, hey, dude, this is about movies. It's not about those. And you need to get those people off of there. Also, another one to shout out is r/Mondo Gore with u/Human Tail as the mod. I like r/Mondo Gore. If you're a fan of Mondo movies like Faces of Death, Traces of Death, Mondo Cane, stuff like that, then you would definitely love this subreddit. The only thing I have to say is also just like r/Gore movies is please u/Human Tail keep it to a minimum when it comes to people asking about mixtapes or the stupid like videos of people getting their heads cut off. Please keep that to a minimum because like again, there's a lot of people on r/Mondo Gore who post on there who are either children, which is extremely messed up. Those people need to be banned immediately. But even if they're not children, they're also posting on there and being like, hey, have you guys seen this video of this guy getting his head cut off? Or have you seen this video of this guy shooting up a place? Like, no, that's not what Mondo is. You know what Mondo is, u/Human Tail. You know what it is, man. Keep it to Mondo films, please. Faces of Death, Traces of Death, anything happening with Mondo, you know, even like Girls Gone Wild, even I know it's Mondo Gore, but like let's keep it to just Mondo films to where we aren't getting these like edgelord 14-year-olds trying to ask about ridiculous things. And again, this is another thing where Wendigoon comes up, you know, like I know I said it before, but like screw that dude. That dude is the worst human being, one of the worst human beings on YouTube. And it's because this man took a iceberg and made it into something where these regular normie people were trying to find these things, and now they're coming on here. He lied about a lot of stuff in that video, like a lot of stuff. And especially when it came to like the Mondo films and the mixtapes, he lied about a lot of stuff. And now we have people getting on r/Mondo Gore being like, I watched the Wendigo iceberg video and I'm trying to find this mixtape, or I'm trying to find this, or where do you get this? And it's like, my guy, like, just don't. You do not need to be in this. You do not need to watch these things, okay? Like, you need to stay away. You need to stay away. Stop asking about some of these things that you don't need to know what they are. Misinformation on the subreddit where, you know, you can tell the people who actually know what they're talking about, because there are people, and I will give u/Human Tail a whole lot of credit. They take down stuff very quickly. If there's somebody who comments or posts on this subreddit asking for certain things, it gets taken down very quickly, and so I'll give them credit for that. But there are things that like you shouldn't even be asking about, or you shouldn't even be glorifying, like MD Pope or MD Pope 2 or MD Pope 3. Like Thomas Cinema Gore is a absolute douchebag piece of shit who did not do anything good other than ripping videos from the internet and throwing them together in a compilation. He is a talentless hack. If you want to watch those things, go watch actual Mondo movies like the Face of Death series, okay? Go watch actual films like Mondo Cane, okay? Like like Mondo Holocaust. Like, go watch actual Mondo films. Do not glorify these idiots who just pull videos from the internet and make a movie and Movie Maker from Windows. But shout out to Mondo Gore. r/Mondo Gore is a great place if you do like actual Mondo films. Head over there, u/Human Tail. I appreciate everything you do. And at the end of the day, like I said, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Reddit is a forum where you can post whatever you want to post, but there are people who make it worse than what it needs to be. Like, if you're on r/horror and you see somebody talking about an extreme horror movie, just move on with your life. No, there's no need to comment. Or if you didn't like it, or you thought it was like grotesque or messed up, don't even post about it. Just move on with your life. Same thing with r/disturbing horror. Like, hey, Poopy poop pants. Stop blocking people from talking about disturbing movies because you run a disturbing movie subreddit. It's just ridiculous, and there's no need for it. Just let people do what they want to do. Let people watch when they want to watch, and that's how it's going to be. So, and that wraps things up here at Basement Horrors. I'll see you guys next time for another video. Like I said before, make sure to like and subscribe, and we will be back soon with another horror video. Thank you.